So now I call on stage an entrepreneur active in the field of sustainable social mobility, Klaus Dibbern. He's the CEO of Flinc, a German startup. Enjoy. And the clicker is here.
Yep. Okay, thank you very much, Jan, for having us for the second time here. Thanks, Fabienne, for the great introduction into the topic I'm going to talk about. I'm going to try to tell you all about Flinc, at least in the short time that I have. Flinc is about smart green mobility, about renewable mobility. So what we see every day is that people travel alone. Fabienne has just mentioned it. On average, 1.1 people are in a car. And if people travel to locations like this, or to their employer, to work, or to a concert or anything, they drive with their own car. This means that we have lots of traffic, we have lots of pollutions, we have lots of carbon emissions. And it's not social. People are alone. People do this because they want to be flexible. People don't have the option, or they don't know about the option, that they can easily share the ride. And if they would do that, we would have this picture here, which basically means that we have 50% less cars on the street, we have 50% less carbon emissions without doing anything with the engine, and we have social interaction in the car, which we think is very important and really helps this movement going forward. In terms of numbers, in Germany alone, 165 million trips are being done by car on a daily basis. On average, 3 seats are empty in each of these cars, which means that we have an enormous transport system which is extremely inefficient. If you would have a logistics company with these characteristics, you would be bankrupt. Now you say carpooling has been around for a long time, and that's true. Carpooling can get you passengers if you travel from large city to large city and if you plan well ahead. That's what traditional carpooling is very good for. There's no solution for 80% of these 165 million trips which are shorter than 40 kilometers, because that's the daily routes we do, and on these routes, people are alone in their car. That's where Flinc comes in play. We use state-of-the-art technology to tackle this, as I would say, efficiency nightmare. And you need to have 3 things in place. You need to have a mobile app, you need to have a smartphone where the solution runs on so that you can use it from anywhere. You need to have a seamless integration into satellite navigation systems, and it needs to be based on a social network for the issue of trust. And to my knowledge, Flinc is the only solution globally that really combines these 3 elements in a seamless way. Let me explain how this works. Here on the left, you see our website. On the right, you see the iPhone app. Flinc is also available on Android. And if I go to the award ceremony tonight, to the party, and I want to go to my hotel, which is on the outskirts of Berlin, and public transport to get there is not very good, I will pull out my smartphone, let's say at 9 p.m., and I will input the destination of my hotel. My location is obviously identified automatically. I send this information off to Flinc, and that's all I do. Seconds later, I get a push message on my iPhone, which tells me that several drivers were found who can pick me up and take me to my hotel. I can select the drivers. Let's say I select 4 different drivers, send that off to Flinc again, put my smartphone away, drink the next beer. And then my smartphone rings, a push message, email. Peter has accepted my ride. Peter was one of the people I had requested the ride from. I can see Peter's profile. I can see how he has been rated by other people. I can see how much money he wants to have for the trip, and I can see when he can pick me up. So I asked, basically, the 2 of us will travel together, and Peter can be here at 10:15 p.m. So what I do is, 10:10, I walk outside on the street right here, and a red Volkswagen pulls up. I compare this Volkswagen with a picture I have in Flinc. I compare the profile picture of the driver with a picture I have in Flinc, and I get in. It's Peter. Now, Peter's navigation system automatically directs the 2 of us to my hotel, because his navigation system is connected to Flinc. We talk about Ecosummit during the trip, and then he drops me off at the hotel. Money is being transferred electronically between me and him during the ride. Afterwards, I give Peter a positive rating. That's what Flinc is all about. It's very seamless, very easy. For the driver, it's basically the easiest use case is he just has to turn on his navigation system and input his destination. A real-life example, which I tried out this morning from a hotel, basically was a planned trip. So I was looking for a ride in the Frankfurt area, going from a small village, Hattersheim, to the outskirts of Wiesbaden. So I want to go tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., and I sent this off to Flinc, and within seconds, 10 drivers were suggested to me. So here I have a list. These are real drivers. This is not a mock-up. Flinc is live and running, and now I could choose from any of these drivers to do this trip tomorrow morning. And I would be picked up at the address where I want to start from, and I will be brought directly to the address where I want to get to. Carpooling is all about trust. You don't want to have people in your car that you don't know, and you don't want to get into a car with drivers that you don't know. That's why we have personal profiles in our social mobility network. So every user, if he wants to do so, he can present himself in a friendly manner on our website and also on the smartphone so that you can see who you will be traveling with. There's a rating, there's statistics, how much carbon has been saved by this person because he has been sharing rides, which group he's member of, etc., etc. And also, any one of you, if you sign up to Flinc, can create his or her own group. So in Flinc, we have company groups, we have university groups, we have school groups, we have sports clubs, and people gather in these groups and then tell each other about the usage of Flinc and start using Flinc in their hub and for their specific interest groups. I talked about the navigation integration. Currently, Flinc is integrated into the Navigon iPhone app and into the Bosch iPhone app. As of February, more than 8 million kilometers were driven with Flinc activated in any of these apps, and we see usage growing. We are talking to more sat-nav providers to get Flinc integrated into their systems. At a glance, we've launched Flinc Germany-wide last July. We have close to 60,000 users today. We have a pretty good growth rate, and Flinc already today works globally. From any address to any address, you can use Flinc for ride sharing. In terms of business model, we have a mixture of a B2B and B2C business model, which is presented below here. And as a closure, with Steve Jobs, I would say I have one more thing, but I can't tell you finally. I can tell you more about it tomorrow because there's a ban on the news. We have a cooperation with an innovative car-sharing company where basically when you rent a car from this car-sharing company, you can automatically share the ride with people from the Flinc network. And vice versa, if you as a Flinc passenger are looking for a ride, you're being presented with potential cars in your area. Thanks a lot. Hopefully there's some time for questions. And I would like to ask you to all get onto the Flinc website afterwards and sign on and start to feel how it is to see where other people are going and to share rides with them. Thanks a lot.
Klaus, thank you very much. Are you currently raising money, or did you just close another round?
We're in the final process of our second round. I guess we will sign all contracts within the next 2 weeks, but we are constantly looking for new partners, for additional partners. So I'll definitely talk to Fabienne afterwards. And we need more money to come because this is one of the things that Fabienne mentioned. It is big, and we need many, many users on a global scale.
And it's a question of network effects.
Absolutely.
Any question for Klaus from the audience? one in the front. He would like to have a microphone.
Ben Lynch, sounds very exciting, and sorry if I am simplifying the concept. It sounds like I should be, in terms of its prospects, but it sounds like I should be shorting taxi companies, among probably some others. What is the regulatory, I don't know how the German sort of cab market works, but what is sort of the regulatory situation vis-a-vis this? People giving other people rides and getting paid for it, and what it's like in different jurisdictions, please.
Well, first of all, the target group that we have, I would think there's a very, very small overlap with the typical taxi users. The taxi market is in turmoil anyway because there are so many taxi apps out there, which basically makes the taxi organizations superfluous, as you probably know. So we would like to partner with some of these taxi apps. To your question, so I don't think there's any cannibalization at all. To your question about regulatory rules, in Germany it is such that if you don't make a profit on your trip, you can take anyone with you without having any additional license. You're covered by your liability insurance, etc. And this is actually being promoted because commuters who go to work should be given an incentive to carpool. And it's the case, and I think in France it's the same situation. And from country to country, that's why we're not operating globally yet. You need to look at the regulations.
Thank you.
All right, final round of applause for Klaus. Thank you very much.